All right, so I just got back from seeing the Super Mario Galaxy movie and I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. Before heading in, a lot of the big YouTubers, TikTok guys already had released their reviews on it. And I was actually really surprised to hear that a bunch of them just didn't like this movie. And after watching it, I think I understand why, but honestly, my view is that the fault is their own. It's not the movie. I would give this movie a solid 7 out of 10. It's not great, right? Like, oh my God, phenomenal. It's also not bad at all. It's a solid movie. It's a solid sequel, right? I think the first Mario movie was obviously better. But this was really good. It was good. It was solid. I don't think this is something that younger kids should be watching, mainly because the action, right, the violence, if you will, in this movie kind of ticked up a lot when compared to the first movie. Now, I think the reason why that is I think they are definitely setting the groundwork for a Super Smash Brothers movie. They're definitely doing that, 100%. And one of the critiques from these guys about this movie was that Nintendo put so much in, right? So much in. But specifically, they put in a lot of different characters, and it's yeah, I think they're doing that though, because again they're setting up the groundwork for Smash Brothers. There are a couple of characters that are introduced that you're just at least me when I saw them, I was like, okay, they're definitely setting this up for a Smash Brothers movie. They're going to do it. Like they're introducing certain characters that in the context of today's culture, right? Even though yeah, they represent old games, but in today's culture for most people, we only know those characters because they were in Smash. We know them because they're in Smash. And I think that's the whole reason why they're introducing them. Now, yeah, they do introduce one prominent character who yes is in Smash but has had, games and stuff released recently, isn't some old nostalgia character. And this character actually serves the story, right? So there's a reason why they're in it. I won't spoil it, even though Nintendo kind of spoiled it, but I'm not going to spoil it for those people who don't know. But that character, again, serves the story. But yeah, they're definitely just laying that foundation for Smash. They're going to do it, even with some of the action, some of the slow mos, the emphasis on seeing certain combo moves, right? Like you would know if you played Smash. Oh, he just did. Yeah, they're gonna make a Smash Brothers movie. Other than that, right? The It's a Nintendo, right? You don't think they're gonna use as much of their property as possible? Of course they are, guys. I don't understand their critique. Why are they putting this in? Why are they putting that character in or this item in? And it's just did you not think they were going to do that? It's Nintendo. Of course they're going to do this. So I think that's just weird. I think the biggest issue, right? I'll address. There's two main issues. One that I think is from the movie, but the other one I want to address because I think it's from all the content creators, all these big guys who are trashing this movie right now. Their problem is that this movie did not live up to this unrealistic expectation that they had in their head. We, people my age, right? Our age, right? If you're an adult, right? You're an adult over the age of 18, I would say. But definitely if you're 25 or older, you are not the target audience for this movie. And I think that there's just there's a complete lack of self-awareness of, hey guys, you're watching a movie that's geared towards kids. A lot of the stuff that you're seeing in there, like the nostalgia that you're thinking is like, man, there's so much, they throw so much. I'm like, that's for you. And it seems like you're completely like not aware of that. That stuff was for you. For you to be like, oh, look cool, look at this. They brought this in, they brought that in. Or like that was for you. But their main audience, these 5, 6, 7-year-olds, they're not deep in the lore like a lot of people are, right? Like a lot of us are. Like they're not deep in it. They're just there to watch Mario. They just know Mario, Princess Peach. And then there's a story centered around them. Complete, I think, lack of self-awareness as to what they thought this movie was supposed to be for them. It's not for you. And so if you're going in there thinking that this is just going to be a movie geared to 25, 30, 35, 40-year-olds like Mario, I got bad news for you, homie. It's not going to do that. Like, not at all. So going it with that expectation, this is a kid movie. It's geared towards kids. You're not the target audience. Now, my one actual critique of this movie is that this felt like a third part of a sequel, like the wrap up of a trilogy. I'm not deep in like Mario lore, though I think I'm above average for most people. However, we went from like Super Mario Brothers to the Galaxy. And it's like, man, there was a lot of stuff that we could have looked at and jumped in and examined. We just went from the Mushroom Kingdom to now we're out in space. And you could feel that, at least in my opinion, watching the movie. You could feel like, man, there's so much more to explore. There's so much more that we haven't seen, and it just feels like we jumped a movie. It feels like there should have been another movie and then this one. Like this would have been like the wrap up like of it. Because I really don't know where you go from here. Obviously not a spoiler, like Bowser Jr. is pretty much the antagonist like of this movie. And just focusing on that, like Bowser Jr. became iconic, right? He's an iconic villain in the Mario like lore, Mario verse, right? But again, it felt like this should have been the wrap up, right? Like it should have been the wrap up of a trilogy. Because Super Mario Brothers, like Super Mario World, is like one of my favorite video games. And that feels like what I would describe as like that in between, where we have Mario, he defeats Bowser, and then we have Super Mario World, right? And then you're getting this whole thing where Bowser, yes, is still the villain at the end, but you go through like his children. And so it would have been interesting, at least to me, it would have been interesting if this movie had kind of borrowed that idea from Super Mario World and brought it here, where, okay, we have Bowser, he's locked up, but now Mario, Luigi, Yoshi have to deal with the children of Bowser, who are all coming together to basically free their father, or let's even say at the beginning of the movie, boom, they come and they actually free their father. And then Mario has to go on this whole adventure. They free the father, they get Peach again, right? And they have to go, or they get Peach, because if I'm remembering correctly, she doesn't actually get kidnapped in the first movie. So she actually gets kidnapped here, right? And then Mario and Luigi have to go, and they're visiting now. More of this world is being opened up to them, right? So it's not just the Mushroom Kingdom. Like they're going and visiting and seeing all these different things. And that right there, you could have explored the 20 years of world building and lore that we have between Mario Brothers and Mario Galaxy, right? The video games. You could have explored all that while also centering around this story of fighting Bowser's children to get to him. And then in the third one, what do? Now it's the whole galaxy. Like Bowser's like, you know what? It's no longer about just saving our world. It's about saving the galaxy. And so I don't know where you go from here. I mean, I don't think it's a spoiler to say Bowser's going to lose. He always loses. And so because of that, it's like, well, where do you go now? Like, what do you do now? That will be just as iconic as, having Bowser, because they're not done making these movies. And I think it's just very clear at this point that Bowser can't be the villain of the third movie. If he is, like, it's going to be so redundant at that point. And then also, when you talk about raising the stakes, how do we get, what can be more drastic than saving the galaxy? It's like, where do we go? So I think that's my biggest critique of the movie. But other than that, the voice acting was great. The movie itself is just beautiful. I mean, I think it rivals anything that Pixar has done. Dare I say, may even look better than a lot of things that Pixar has done as of late. So it's beautiful in that sense. Again, the voice acting is on point. It's definitely a story that's centered around Princess Peach, but it doesn't take away from Mario. Mario is still the hero of the story, so they still do justice there with that. And so I would highly recommend you go see this movie. I recommend you take your kids if they're, older than 6, 7, around that age and up. I would take them. I think anything in younger than that, it might just be a little too violent, might be a little too frightening. And so that would be my recommendation. But I highly, again, recommend this movie. 7 out of 10 for me. Go and watch it. I appreciate you guys for taking the time of watching this review. Peace.